Hi, I'm Dylan.
Hi, I'm Neil, and this is Youth on Subjects of the World. And today we're going to be talking about the United States midterm elections that happened around, when was it, last Tuesday, whatever. But yeah, we're going to be talking about that, the results, or thoughts on it. We can talk about elections in general if we want, but mainly, the results of it, the outcome, and, what we think is going to happen in the future. So first, let's go over the results. So in the United States Senate, right now, the Republicans have 51 seats in the Senate. By the way, there's 100. There are 100 seats in this. There are 100 seats for the Senate. If anyone's wondering, 100 seats that are in the Senate, and for the Democrats to gain majority control.
There's like 500 or something in the House, right?
There are 435 in the House, 535 total, adding the Senate and the House together. Mm-hmm. So the Senate has 100 seats, and right now, 97 of them have been called, as in the elections are in. It's done. 50. So by the way, for Democrats to gain control, they would need 51 seats. For Republicans, they would need 50. The reason Republicans would only need 50 to gain control is because the vice president breaks ties, and the VP is currently Republican. So right now, Republicans are going to have a majority in the Senate no matter what, because right now they have 51 seats called for them. So that's more than they need for the majority. And it's looking like they're going to net gain like 2 or 3 seats. It's pretty good for them. Democrats have 44 seats, and 2 seats are held by independents. However, both of those independents, I'm pretty sure, are going to follow Democrat Party lines when it comes to voting.
Who were the independents?
And they're going to caucus with the Democrats when it comes to Bernie Sanders is one of them, and I forget the other one. Since Bernie Sanders is technically an independent, he just went into the primary as a Democrat in the 2016 election. So we have 46 seats basically voting for Democrat and 51 voting for Republican. So far, it's been called. So 97 out of 100 have been called. Moving on to the House, the Democrats gained majority in the House. That's a pretty big victory for them. This is after 8 years of not having a majority in the House. They now have a majority in the House, I think. So they this is very predictable. This is what we all expected them to get, a majority in the House. They gained a lot of seats in the House to get a majority.
And also Neil became the biggest nerd in the world.
And so this is so they're going to gain a lot of control of congressional committees. They're going to have powers like they could potentially request Trump's tax returns. They're definitely going to be doing a lot of things to check the president, check the Senate, and possibly even investigate the president and his administration. As of right now, 422 seats have been called, 435. 225 have been called for the Democrats, and 197 have been called for the Republicans. So the Democrats needed 218 to get majority control. They now have majority control. And then for gubernatorial races, governor elections around the country, Democrats again gained and Republicans lost. Democrats gained around 7 states. Republicans lost around 7 states. However, it's still going on for some states. States like Florida and Georgia, it's still kind of up in the air.
Isn't in Florida they're like hand counting all of them?
And for the Senate race in Florida, they are hand recounting every single vote because it is within 0.2% of each other. And for the governor race in Florida, it's within 0.4%. So they're going to be machine recounting everything, which means they take all the ballots and they run them through the machine again. So right now, in Georgia, the Democratic candidate is challenging the Republican candidate's claim because of some reasons. I forget all the reasons. We'll go into it. But the point is that that's a little bit. Both of those are kind of up in the air. But other than that, but even if Republicans gain Georgia and Florida for gubernatorial races, Democrats will still make massive gains in gubernatorial races. So this is although that may seem like the Democrats really pulled through and really gained a lot, which they did. This is a massive victory for the Democrats after 4 years of complete 100% Republican rule. But on the positive side for the Republicans, they did gain. It's looking like they are going to gain 2 to 3 seats in the Senate. So that is good for them. So yeah, those are the results. I guess we can move. I guess we can talk about what we think about that. So I personally think that this is a really good thing because I did not like the fact that one party had basically had all control in the in America. I did not like that. I did not like that. So now that we have, I just like the idea of restoring checks and balances. What do you think, Dylan?
Yes, I agree. I mean, it's just stupid if one party, no matter who you like.
No matter who you like, no party should control the Senate, the House, and the presidency.
And the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
Which is
And the thing is, they even still hold, now technically, the Supreme Court can't be partisan. Let's be honest, that's a bunch of bullshit. Everyone's partisan. They say, oh, I'm not a Republican, I'm a conservative. Shut the fuck up, all right? Like, I'm sorry, but this is such bull crap. The fact that we keep falling because it's such crap. Everyone has some sort of partisan bias here. The Republicans, their conservatives basically control the Supreme Court. And the thing is that now that the Senate is still under Republican control, so the Senate can still approve any nominees if another Supreme Court justice retires or possibly dies. So basically, when anything Trump says goes, and any impeach, because the House can impeach someone. However, when people think of impeaching as removing someone from office, that's not true. Impeaching is basically just bringing them to trial. What the House can do is the Democrat House can impeach one of the justices. Obviously, I'm talking about Kavanaugh here. Theoretically, they could impeach Kavanaugh, and they could bring him to the Senate for trial. But the Republican-controlled Senate obviously is not gonna remove him. Also, unless it's the president being tried, the vice president the vice president is the one that precedes over the trial, and the vice president is of course a Republican. So the reason also that the Supreme Court justice presides over a presidential impeachment is because obviously the vice president can't preside over the president getting impeached because the vice president has a vested interest in seeing the president get out of the office because the vice president then becomes the president. So that's basically why impeaching isn't. People are talking, we're going to impeach. No, you're not. Nothing's happening. The Democrats aren't even saying that they're probably going to impeach because, one, it's a useless waste of time. And that's basically it. It's just a waste of time.
Neil, what do you think the government is, honestly?
A useless waste of time.
Yeah. They'll do anything.
But the biggest thing coming out of this, there are two biggest things that the Democrats are happy, and then one thing that the Republicans are happy about. Two biggest things the Democrats are happy about is, one, restoring checks and balances. The fact that they have the House and control a bunch of congressional committees because of that, and the fact that they gained a bunch of states with gubernatorial races, and they can kind of offset some of the conservative policies on the state level. That's a big, victory for checks and balances. The Republicans are happy that because there was a possibility that Republicans were going to it was going to be a lot worse than this. So Republicans, the fact that they gained seats in the Senate, actually there's a lot more support for Donald Trump than we thought before. Mm-hmm. So because you think that even Republicans, because I honestly was surprised because I thought that even Republicans didn't really like Donald Trump because there's kind of been a split in the Republican Party, the traditional Republican Party, and the Trump Republicans. And I thought, I can understand people voted for Trump in 2016 because they just didn't like the idea of Hillary being the president, or they like the idea of an outsider coming to the presidency. I understand that. But now with all that Trump's done, I would think that people would go back to the traditional Republican values, the Republican Party would. But they seem to stay with Trump. That's very interesting.
Yes, it is quite interesting. I always wonder if it's just like the news is like what the news makes it seem to be. Just because I always think of that kind of stuff like I wonder if it's just depending on who you watch on the news. Like, do the Republicans actually hate do the Republicans actually hate Trump? Because like especially in 2016, you could read two newspapers. Like you could watch CNN and they were trying to prove that Hillary, like you would believe that Hillary was going to win no matter what. It wasn't even going to be close.
Yeah.
And then you could go to like Breitbart or Fox, and then there'd be like Trump is going to win. There's literally
I think, well, maybe not Breitbart, but even Fox was like saying, I think Fox was saying stuff like Trump would still have a chance, but none of them were I don't think anyone was as confident as people were for Hillary.
Mm.
I think
but even still, like it just depends on who you read.
To be clear, I think actually the polls were right. The polls actually predicted the popular vote margin correctly. It was just the Electoral College that screwed us over once again.
Mm-hmm.
But on the side of polls not being right was the fact that polls in the states suggested, like within each state, suggested that Hillary would win, but that did not happen, obviously. And you think the polls within each state combined to an electoral college map, allocating the votes, accordingly, would predict at least somewhat accurately who would win, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't because I think it was probably just because, again, some people just didn't show up to the polls. That's the biggest problem with polling. You just don't get people showing up.
Well, Neil, do you think that Donald Trump will be elected for a second term?
That's a really, really good question. I have no idea. So in 2020, I think, first of all, Trump's approval rating is insanely low. First of all.
Yes. So
we'll say pros for Trump being elected and cons for Trump not being elected. So
wait. I would like to say something about this real quick.
Yes.
I think I think it's interesting. I think all right, I'm not gonna say he hasn't fucked everything up, but it's interesting because it's people's perception of what was gonna happen is he's gonna start a nuclear war, and I think it's interesting. It's my thing is I think he will be reelected, not because I want him to, but I think partially because it's the Democrats are gonna put up someone so shit again that it's gonna be well, I guess he didn't destroy us before, or completely destroy us. I guess I'll vote for him. I that's my prediction, but I don't know. What do you think, Neil?
Yeah. So I think that again, a point for Trump not being elected again is super low approval rating. Mm-hmm. However, there's an argument to be made that someone might be put up against Trump that is hated even more than Trump, i.e. a Hillary Clinton-esque person. But even so, Hillary Clinton was not as hated as much as Trump because she won the popular vote. Yes. But then something for Trump not being elected. I already did that. Something for Trump being elected is the surprising fact that while the Republicans are the minority, they still rally behind Trump. And the fact that Republicans made gains in the Senate really proves that. And the fact that candidates Trump endorsed did better than the ones Trump didn't endorse or the ones that denounced Trump really shows that Donald Trump is a key player in the Republican Party, and the Republican Party is becoming more the Trump Party than the old Republican Party. The Republican Party of yesterday is no longer what the Republican Party is. The Republican Party is mainly split between basically the Trump Republicans and the old Republicans. The Trump Republicans are actually kind of more left-wing in a weird it's because they actually take control of the economy, but they do it for a right-wing agenda. It's really weird. So, for example, the tariffs on steel and things like that. So you think the Republican Party would be supporting, libertarian ideals and things like that, right? However, that would be probably the older Republican Party. This Republican Party is not really supporting libertarian ideals. They're more supporting more control of the economy, but instead of to the left wing, like the left would be doing, they're more taking it towards the right wing. That's what Trump's doing, like things with tariff and steel, claiming that it'll bring jobs back to the U.S. So, yeah, absolutely. Just so it's very interesting that the Republican Party is actually still rallying, at least the populace of the Republican Party is still rallying behind it. It's a pro for Trump being reelected, especially since more Republicans vote the Democrats.
Yes, because they're just old white.
They're just old fucks. And on average, old people vote way more than anyone else. And
a lot of Republicans seem to be old people.
That's not seem. It is.
Yeah.
But so yeah. And so honestly, I don't know. It depends on who he's up against. And I don't know what's gonna
I
happen.
guess. So Neil, do they will the Republicans run someone, or are they just gonna run? Or are they just gonna support Donald Trump?
I don't know if there is a primary of the. 1 second.
Like I just forget that. Like, is there a
Yeah, I don't remember either. Will there? I don't know if there will be a primary.
Or are they just gonna be like, well, Trump?
Yeah, I don't know if they actually have to. Because I don't know if they do a primary again, or whoever the incumbent is just automatically. I think it's whoever let me check. I'm pretty sure whoever the incumbent is just automatically becomes the runner. I don't know. Let's see. 1 second. Okay. It looks like there will actually be a primary, but the incumbent, that's basically who's in there right now, is rarely ever challenged.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, they do. They there will be a primary, but they face almost zero opposition at all. Which makes sense, yeah.
Yes. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see who the Democrats run.
Yeah. And definitely see who the candidates are. It'll definitely be interesting, yeah. So yeah.
Didn't I was gonna say. Oh Neil, did you see that thing? I know you're a fan of who's that woman you like? Who's in the Senate?
I do like Elizabeth Warren.
Did you see her thing about Native American? Like,
that was really funny.
That was pretty retarded.
Why was Trump being such a dick? I will give her $1 million if she can do it.
That was hilarious.
Here, I proved it. I never said that. It was so dumb.
That thing was really funny. Did you see though? She's like 0.0001% Native American.
Is she?
Yeah, like it's astronomical. Like how little percentage she is.
Yeah, well, whatever.
Because that was her argument to a lot of stuff. Is like, oh yeah, I'm native, but she's like literally. I honestly I think it was like. I'll look it up. Amount native but Neil, what have you been working on in your Model UN papers?
Well, the first topic is climate change and how it affects the Pacific Islands Forum, which is the committee we're acting as. And then the second one is the rise of fisheries crime in Pacific Islands Forum countries and how to combat it. They're always really kind of obscure topics. Like the last Princeton Model UN conference, the first topic, I was in NATO, and the first topic was cybersecurity and espionage and how NATO should evolve to combat these threats. It's like, oh my fucking God. But it's very interesting seeing everyone band together to tackle these obscure topics that are actually relevant in the world.
That's pretty
and then we're just saying to talk about this, and Trump's like, we won, okay, we won this topic. Trump's so funny because he everything's win and loss for him.
Yeah, for sure. But I think the Democrats, I don't know what you think. I think the Democrats actually would have won if, one, they ran Bernie Sanders.
I think so too.
Or two, like I was listening to Hillary Clinton on.
The thing is, Trump could have attacked Bernie's platform as much as he wanted, and I would have done that too because socialism's actually fucking dumb. But that being said, I think Bernie would have won because he's actually. I don't want to be too harsh on Hillary, but he's a person. Like he's a human being who actually exists in.
Yeah, she's not a human being. We all know that.
She's so fake all the time. God damn, she changes her opinion on everything. on the drop of a hat.
Literally, there's like, I love this video. It's a clip of her talking about not supporting gay marriage in 2013. Like, you know how freaking old.
People keep saying that Hillary Clinton, she changed her mind over time. Wasn't it just like overnight?
No, it was literally in 20 and then so in 2013, completely against it, and then essentially overnight and then she said, I never did.
When did she change her mind? Like, what was the timeline?
Well, at least by 2014, because then she had to start running for president, like 2014, 2015, something like that.
That's interesting.
Like, not a long period of time.
And people are acting like it was a gradual
because in when she ran for president, like, so 2013, she didn't like it, and then in 2016, somewhere in between there, because 2015, 2014.
Another reason I like Elizabeth Warren is, again, Elizabeth Warren is a human being. Elizabeth Warren actually exposed Clinton on something she did, and basically called her out and was like, "That's bullshit." Has
Elizabeth Warren done anything bad, Neil?
Probably. Hasn't everyone?
Yes, Neil.
But I don't really care about that. I care about the fact that she's a human being, and she happens to, I guess, she's just like, "Hi, I'm Elizabeth Warren. Hi, I'm Hillary Rodham Clinton, and I'm seeking your vote for President of the United States, and I don't happen to be an actual human being, but I'm going to act like I am." And it's that whole thing with the woman card was such bullshit. Like,
what was that?
Like, it was so fake, because I'm okay with that. It was funny. What happened was Trump was like, the only reason Hillary is winning is because she's pulling the woman card. And Hillary was like, if I'm pulling the woman card, then that's what I want. I'm going to start selling woman cards. Ha, 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 ha. But it comes across as so fake and rehearsed. Like, also, I think, like, the whole Pokemon Go to the polls thing, like, it just shows how out of touch she is.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. Like, Jesus.
Oh, no, I looked it up. It's her ancestry is like 6 to 10 generations ago. She had some amount of Native American. Elizabeth Warren. But I heard somewhere else it was even shorter than that, but who knows?
Well, still, Trump lost the bet. He has to give $1 million to Elizabeth Warren's charity of choice.
He does.
And then he just said, I never said that. Can't prove that. Every time I click on YouTube, it's Elizabeth Warren's ad just playing Donald Trump, saying, I donate $1 million to the charity of her choice. Then next clip, I never said that.
And even stupider is that he's like, $1 million is almost like nothing to him.
I know.
It's almost
nothing. It's literally nothing.
Mm-hmm. It's almost nothing. But
No,
I think
it is nothing. It's nothing. Fucking nothing.
I think the thing about Donald Trump, though, and Republicans, is that I don't think Republicans like him as a person, but in their mind, what he's been doing is very pro-Republican. It relates to what he's been saying.
I think what he's been saying incites fear, and people rally behind that.
Yes, that's true.
I think his policies are just really dumb. They're so weird. Like, his policies go, like, tariffs on steel. What the frick is Republican about a tariff? What the fuck?
Mm-hmm. True Republican. Nothing is true.
And that's why. So I've come to have there are 4, I think, main political distinctions. There are 2 basic sides. There's the Republican side. There's the Democrat side. On the Republican side, there are the old Republicans,
mm-hmm.
and then there are the Trump Republicans, the very fringe ideology, more to the right than anything else,
mm-hmm.
and the very weird very weird. Then, of course, the regular Republicans, the old ones. Then over here are the progressive Democrats. The progressive Democrats are more socialist, basically stupid. Okay. The progressive Democrats are more socialist, and things like that. Then over here near the center are the corporate Democrats, or the moderate Democrats, whatever you want to call them. These people are actually pretty much the old Republicans and the moderate or corporate Democrats, whatever you want to call them. They're actually pretty similar when it comes to the economy. They're pretty libertarian when it comes to it. They've always been,
mm-hmm.
really. So they just the only difference really between these two is that socially the Democrats are more left and socially the Republicans are more right, but economically, these two are basically on par. However, and then we see with the progressive Democrats and the Trump Republicans is that they're more in favor of control of the economy, but for the opposite reasons. It's very interesting. It's a very interesting dynamic.
It's very interesting.
So if I had to point out where I am on this scale, on this limited scale, it'd be with the corporate Democrats or moderate Democrats, just because I'm socially left leaning most of the time. I don't like the assault weapon ban. I'm okay with like a licensing thing for guns. That makes sense to me. However, assault weapon bans I'm not for. But assault weapon bans more fall on this side of the Democrats. So that's fine.
Neil.
What?
That's stupid.
What? What'd you say?
Assault rifle bans is stupid because assault rifles are illegal.
No, assault weapons are no. You're missing up.
Fully automatic weapons have been illegal since 19.
I never said fully automatic, idiot.
That's what assault rifles are.
Assault weapons. No, you can have an assault rifle that's not fully automatic.
They're called semi-automatic. But I don't think you can.
Wait.
I don't think that's the correct definition. I think assault rifles mean fully automatic. But fully automatic ones also are already legal.
No, yeah, I know that. And I don't support AR-15 bans, all right? That's what I'm trying to say, or anything like that. All right, let's see, 1 second. Let me look that up.
Basically, Neil wants America to be like Denmark.
God, you're retarded. I literally said I'm not in favor of that. I think people should be able to own AR-15s. And let's get into detail about that. Oh, no, let's not. We talk about that so much. The federal government usually refers to a military weapon capable by motorized rifle, machine gun. Okay, let me just look up is a semi-automatic rifle and assault weapon. Here we go. Okay. Drawing from federal and state law definitions, the term assault weapon refers to primarily semi-automatic rifles, pistols, and shotguns that are able to accept attachable magazines and possess one or more other features. Some jurisdictions define revolving cylinder shotguns as assault weapons. Okay, this is just more vague, kind of includes more things.
All right, it doesn't really matter.
Things like AR-15s, banning AR-15s are more on this side of the progressive Democrats. And I'm not in favor of that because honestly, you can kill just as many people with a handgun. And yeah, so I am in favor of, people say common sense gun laws, they don't actually see what they mean.
That's retarded.
I'm okay with, I'm going to actually spell it. I'm not just going to say common sense like morons because they don't actually know what they're talking about. But I'm going to say, here's what I'm going to say. I think that there should be something similar to a driver's license test to get a permit to own a gun. I think it's extremely reasonable.
Neil, what would you say to the argument that like driving a car isn't, no, I'm not saying I even agree with
No, I know what you're talking about. I know what argument you're talking
but
about.
like driving a car isn't a right. Like,
yeah, I really don't give a fuck. Like I hear people say like, the driving a car isn't in the Second Amendment. I don't give a fuck. Like there's the right to bear arms. Well, couldn't you argue that? I mean, that if you actually take that so literally, as in everyone has the right to bear arms regardless of a test or anything, then you can go into the idea of former felons, or felons can own guns, and people who don't pass background checks can own guns, and that's just really fucking stupid. I think that I don't care about the argument that, well, driving a car isn't in the Constitution. Even if it isn't, I don't care. I don't give a fuck. It's passing a driver's test is not that hard, okay? It really isn't. As long as you're not overly stupid, as long as you know how to read a book and then just absorb the knowledge and then just reflect it onto a test. That's what most tests are, but this is actually a lot easier than that. And then just know, and also common sense. Like, should you ever look down the barrel of a gun? No. Should you ever point a gun at somebody, even if no. It needs common sense, things like this. You know?
Yes, Neil.
Yeah, never, yeah. So I really don't, that argument, I really don't care. And if we're gonna take it that literally to the point where we shouldn't do like tests and stuff like that, I think that that's a massive slippery slope that takes us so many stupid places. We can argue, and so, but yeah. So again, I'd probably be more a moderate Democrat or corporate Democrat, just because that mainly, I'm not socially right. I'm socially left. I'm economically more libertarian. But honestly, both sides of this kind of reflect that. And also the Trump Republicans and the progressive Democrats, I disagreed with both. So if I had to pick either the Trump Republicans or the progressive Democrats, I'd probably pick the progressive Democrats. One, because obviously I'm socially left, so at least that's one thing I agree with. And two, because the people that are the progressive Democrats, I feel like they're still people. Donald Trump is just, yeah, So that's basically, I guess, where I would be on the political spectrum. And I think that even if you're not a Republican or a Democrat, these midterms should really be, you should hopefully be hoping these midterm results, because checks and balances should be restored.
I concur. Neil, is anything else new with you?
With me personally, probably not. Well, I mean, yeah, there's a bunch of stuff going on, but nothing new.
But Neil, so what country are you in the Model UN?
I forget how to pronounce it. It's Niue, I think is how you pronounce it. Let me look it up.
Niue?
Niue, I think is how you pronounce it.
Where is it?
It's spelled Niue.
Where is it?
It's like in the West Pacific.
The West Pacific.
It's in the Pacific. It's kind of like east of Australia.
East of Australia. What's Oh, is it like New Guinea?
No.
No, I know it's not New Guinea, but is it like New way? But Neil, do like the bigger countries have like bigger roles?
You mean, do they have more power and influence?
Yeah.
So in the committee, they can kind of like wield more power and influence. Like they can say, well, I can provide this much more support than this country. But when it comes to talking and any logistical problems, like in parliamentary procedure, they have no more power. However, when it comes to making deals, obviously they have more resources to make the deal. But that's just in like the more role-playing aspect of it. Obviously, you have to be true to your country's nature and your country's resources. So if you're like this small island country, you can't be like, I pledge my entire military power to you. You can't do that, right? So yeah. That's what it is.
Definitely. But like, I was gonna ask. Oh, dude, do they ever go to like war? Like, do you ever start wars at Model UNs?
You can do it in crisis committee. You can actually take action. In specialized committees and general assemblies, you can basically only act as if you're actually in that committee, which means you can just talk, basically, and make a resolution.
But you can't go to war with other countries?
Because you don't have any power to actually take action. You only have the power to pledge your country to an idea. And then after you pledge your country to that idea, and that idea passes, in the committee, it's done. But in crisis committees, you actually have the power to take action.
I see. Like, so in crisis committees, can you go to war with the other countries in the committee?
Well, it depends. In crisis committees, you might not even be a country. You might be a person with like a general or something.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Have you ever done those?
Yeah, I did one crisis committee. It was actually only like a mini crisis committee. It was only 2 to 3 hours long. And it was only one day. It was kind of like a simulation crisis committee. And I had power to like pledge troops to people like immediately and see the actions of it, because I was like this French general.
A French general. That's pretty cool.
It was during the time of World War II, and we were discussing the effectiveness of the Maginot Line.
The what?
The Maginot Line, the line that was across France at Germany to prevent them from crossing it.
How did you do that? Well, you failed at that, I guess.
Yeah, we fucking failed. I mean, you can actually change history in a crisis committee.
Okay, I knew.
Yes. Yeah.
Neil, is that a melon candy?
This is a guava candy. Remember?
Guava candy. Yeah, guava candy. They're pretty good.
Came from the Asian market.
That closed down very sadly. Rest in peace.
Yes.
Rest in peace to
All
Asian
our fellow watchers in Burlington County, New Jersey, or Medford area. Was it in Medford? I don't know where it was.
It's in Cherry Hill.
In Cherry Hill. That's not even Burlington County.
It's not. It's Camden County.
Yeah.
Yes, sadly it closed. Very sad. Was your dad upset about it?
Yeah.
He was.
Yeah.
That's very sad.
He liked it.
Yeah, we have to find a new one. Man, I hate this. I can't ever turn on my lights. It's so dark.
Yeah, your entire face was like, the half of your face was totally black.
I know.
When you were talking one time.
But, what else?
Overall, I'm happy with the midterm results.
You are.
I'm dissatisfied about two things.
What is that?
The Trump Republicans gained more influence, and kind of the progressive Democrats gained more influence. Like the more socialist Democrats gained more influence.
Well, how many what were they called? The other kind of Democrats. How many are there?
The moderate Democrats. Well, you can't really measure them because there's no actual.
I know.
It's more on their platforms. They still have a lot of influence. A pro for the moderate Democrats, I'm just going to call them moderate Democrats instead of corporate. A pro for the moderate Democrats is that Nancy Pelosi, a moderate Democrat, is going to be probably elected as Speaker of the House for the House of Representatives. So she's going to command a lot of power there.
The last million have resigned though, right?
What'd you say?
The last bunch of resigned, right?
The last bunch of what?
Of Speaker of the Houses.
Have they?
Yeah.
Did Paul Ryan resign?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Pelosi was the Speaker before Paul Ryan.
Was she?
Yeah.
Who's the one that lived, like the Republican one that lives in Alaska? Isn't that Nancy Pelosi?
Yeah, her. She's a senator. Yeah.
She's a senator.
Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about.
Isn't there a Republican woman too who's, I forget what she did, but she's well known too. Republican senators. Oh, I looked that up. But that's pretty cool. Didn't like the Republicans and the Democrats switch pretty much roles in the 1800s?
Yes, that was during FDR's New Deal. He basically changed a bunch of the things of the platform of the Democrats that changed it and made it more what it is today. And that basically.
How do you do that?
What you saying?
How did you do that?
It was basically just I think it was pretty much just a platform thing. He decided to change the goals of the Democrats and change the goal of him as a president, himself as a president, which changed the platform of the Democrats as a whole. Mm-hmm. And the Republicans kind of took the con of what he did, changing their role. And people seem to think, PragerU came out with a really stupid video.
What is PragerU's MO?
I don't know. What's their deal is what I'm wondering. So they're kind of they're pro-religious, pro-right organization.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess they support kind of the same ideals as, I guess, people in the anti-SJW sphere, but less of a go to your safe space stuff, like those moron commentators on YouTube that are so oversaturated. And I guess they're more kind of Ben Shapiro-esque, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I don't really. Are they an actual university?
No, they're not. Not even close. They're just a fucking website.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they just say they're PragerU. It's no, they're not university.
Yeah, I just assumed that they were.
But they made a video saying basically that the South the party switch never actually happened because it's just the Democrats.
What never happened?
They were saying the party switch never happened. It was just the Democrats' excuse for losing the South.
Really?
It's so stupid. And I really liked this debunking by this one YouTuber. You can look up the debunking if you want. But basically, the whole issue with the civil rights movement was not a partisan thing. People seem to think, oh, the Democrats were in favor of civil rights, the Republicans didn't like it. No, that's not how it was. In fact, while the people in the South were Democrats, it was not a partisan issue. It was actually a regional issue. So all the Republicans and the Democrats from the northern states and other places from the country all were in favor of civil rights and abolishing Jim Crow, and all the Democrats and the Republicans in the South were opposed to it. It was not a political issue. It was a regional issue.
I see. That's pretty interesting.
It's very interesting. And but yeah, so the party switch did happen because it was FDR basically and the changing ideals of the Democratic Party, and the Republicans kind of took the con of that. And that's what we had today. Well, not today. That's what we've been having for a while until something called asymmetric polarization occurred around Obama's era, where the Republicans kind of became polarized and the Democrats actually didn't. For a while, the Republicans and the Democrats were kind of both equally towards the center on this. But then the Republicans kind of veered off even farther right than they were before. And so that became an asymmetric polarization. And first of all, it lowered the quality of political discourse because it's hard to talk about asymmetric polarization without taking a partisan approach since it's such a partisan issue. Like you can't say the Republicans, actually say the Republicans are asymmetric polarized, which is stopping cooperation without sounding partisan, right? But you also have to try to deliver the truth. So it's very interesting on that front. And then after that, and that happened on the Obama era, because things like, because the Republicans were saying crazy things during the Obama era, like our number one goal is to make sure the president does absolutely nothing, like crazy shit like that. Like that never happens. Parties are just never so radical. They'll never cooperate with the president. The amount of filibusters that Republicans was insane in the Senate during the Obama era on bills. They ran a bunch of filibusters on Obama on a bunch of things, and also there was what else? And so after that, I forget what it was, but the Republican voter base in the upper echelon of the party kind of disconnected from each other.
Well, they do that.
Kind of. So I should probably explain what filibusters are actually to people who don't know what they are. Because we have probably some people who aren't.
If you watch Parks and Rec, then you know.
Yeah. I haven't gotten to that episode yet, but actually, in my American politics class, they actually showed that clip from Parks and Rec in there to explain what
That's
filibusters.
literally the only reason I know what they are.
So, and they got to the point where Ben was saying, this is like a weird sex fantasy I have. And the teacher turned off and said, okay, never mind. That was really funny. But so what filibustering is there's a tradition in the Senate of unrestricted debate. Basically, if someone asks to speak and they're granted the time they're granted to speak, they actually don't have a limited amount of time. So they theoretically do not have to yield their time and can continue speaking indefinitely to basically delay a vote indefinitely. And so what happens, however, there are some downsides. You cannot sit down while you're speaking. You cannot eat or drink anything except water and milk, which is really gross.
Water and milk?
Yes, it's disgusting. Just imagine a senator standing up hours on end and taking a nice big swig of thick milk. Oh, God damn.
Just think of having a jug of milk. dumping in their face.
Oh God, it's so disgusting. So and they can't go to the bathroom either. However, they did get around this.
Have there only been any ones where they like peed their pants?
Probably some of them wear diapers, I think.
Really?
It's so dumb. But so, however, they can't get around this. So, for example, this will actually happen. Like this exact wording will happen. A senator on their side will like say, "Excuse me, I have to ask a very lengthy question," and then they'll run to the bathroom and go to the bathroom while the senator is basically filibustering a question, and then he'll come back and say, "Okay, I'm done with my question. Thank you very much."
I think you can also like, this might just be, I remember this, I watched a little bit of the show called West Wing. They did it and like this guy just started to read a cookbook. Like go through an entire cookbook.
Yep. Someone read Green Eggs and Ham once. Like you can read it. You can do whatever you want. You can just read a book. A lot of people read books.
And what's the point of that? Does it just like make people leave?
No, just keeps the, because you have to keep talking. So.
No, but like, what's the point of wanting to keep it going?
Because again, if you yield your time, it will come to a vote. So like for example, if I'm part of the minority party, let's say I'm a Democrat and the Republicans have control of the Senate, and the Republicans are going to pass a bill, and I'm like, oh, I don't want this to pass. So I run a filibuster. It means I go and I talk for like 8 hours. I just talk and talk and talk. And since I don't actually technically have to yield my time ever, I can talk forever until we just have to leave and a vote never actually happens. Mm-hmm. And what this does is that it basically, so that's what filibustering works. Now that doesn't actually stop people from passing. It basically changes it because there's this thing called a cloture, and a cloture is basically when it basically is like a petition that senators can pledge themselves to, basically saying we're going to now end this debate and move on to voting. So what filibustering effectively does is that it moves the voting majority from simple majority, basically 50 or 51, depending on who's the vice president, to 60. So what happens is that it basically it makes it so that so basically if I'm sitting there debating I'm on Senate, I'm just debating and not just talking and filibustering so the vote never happens. Mm-hmm. If 60 senators vote to stop me from debating, then we can move to voting. It basically moves the voting margin from 50 or 51 to 60 because it takes 60 votes to stop me from talking and move to a vote. Whereas if I hadn't filibustered, it would have taken them 50 or 51 votes, depending on who's the vice president. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what basically filibustering is. But moving on to the idea of the asymmetric polarization thing, after the parties were polarized, there was a distrust in the voter base with the Republican Party upper echelon. So what ended up happening was that when Trump came in, he split the Republican Party. And the Republican Party splitting and becoming more radical on the far right side also kind of split the Democratic Party, and that's why we have our system today, basically. Mm-hmm.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and yeah, so it just shows you that it's not as simple as, oh, we have two-party rule, and that's basically it. If you have two-party rule, yes, but we have four ideologies that are really competing with each other. Mm. And what's going to happen, what's going to happen in 2020 is really what's going to be setting the agenda for the parties in the future.
Yes. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, we're really going to see the futures of the parties develop in the future.
Oh, really?
Oh, that was really fucking dumb.
Yeah.
In 2020 is when we're going to see a bunch of development for the parties.
Yeah, that's better, Neil. But so like in the model units, I'll ask you, what's like the goal of it? Like, so I know you have to solve a problem. How do you go about like? Do they already have?
First,
do you have to think of solutions like yourself?
Yeah, you can go join like a coalition or whatever. That's like unofficial group basically. But So it starts off with an opening of the speakers list. The speakers list is basically just a list of people who are going to talk, and the list is just who's going to talk next. And you just keep doing that until someone makes a motion to start a moderated caucus. A moderated caucus is basically just like the speakers list, except the person who makes the motion sets how long the caucus will be and sets how much time each person will be able to speak. And most importantly, sets the topic. So basically, speakers list is just general discussion on the entire topic. A moderated caucus would be, let's say we're talking about climate change, and we have the speakers list and we're talking about that. And I make a motion for a 10-minute moderated caucus with a 1-minute speaking time on the topic of disaster management when it comes to climate change. That means whoever talks has to talk about disaster management, not just climate change as a whole. So then we talk about that until eventually we'll have an unmoderated caucus. An unmoderated caucus doesn't have a topic. It basically is just everyone moves around and starts talking to each other. During this time, coalition will form, people will start, and you can pass notes too.
You can pass notes?
Yeah, basically sending messages and things like that during the debate. But during the unmoderated caucus, things will form, and eventually this process will go on and on until there's a working paper going on with signatories and sponsors. A working paper is basically the precursor to a resolution. The working paper will have people, there will be sponsors for the working paper. Sponsors are basically people who started it and are totally with it. Signatories are basically just people who want to see it debated. So even if you're opposed to the paper, you can be a signatory to it just to see it debated. So then the working paper will go up, the sponsors will go up and answer questions. While they're answering questions and things like that. And after they're done answering questions, the debate will go on until other people come in on it, and it's finally finalized into a resolution. And then you can make a motion to vote on the resolution. And yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And then you vote on the resolution, and you can pass multiple resolutions. So you don't have to actually make a motion to end debate on it, because any debate is basically just thing stops. So you can after you pass that resolution, you can keep going, repeat the process until you get another resolution to get a different topic. So you can have resolutions specialized in different topics of the overarching thing, right? Basically how it works.
Yeah. Well, I like that. Yeah. I'm just on time. Well, that's pretty cool, Neil. Where is this one? Is this like a bigger one?
Yeah, it's the Princeton Model United Nations Conference. It's in Princeton, obviously.
Are there any like really like big conferences? Like, what's the biggest one in the world? Right now?
I don't know what the biggest one in the world is. Princeton's a pretty big one. Like schools send delegates from all over the world to go there.
Really? Who did you meet last time? I know you went last year.
What'd you say?
Did you meet anyone interesting last year?
I mean, yeah, I met some people that spoke French and things like that.
They spoke French. Were they from France?
I don't know.
So they just spoke French?
I think he was from France. There's one guy.
Or were they Quebecois?
Someone was from, I don't know, they might have been from Quebec. I don't think so. But someone was from, I forget. Someone was from Italy.
That's pretty cool. But they're like, how many people are there?
A lot, like hundreds.
Hundreds?
But they're different committees.
So do all the committees have to talk to each other? Have to work together?
The committees are totally separate.
Oh, so it's not like one huge game?
No.
Oh, it's a bunch of different ones?
Yeah.
Oh. And how many people are in like one committee?
It depends on the type of committee. There are 3 types of committees. There are general assemblies, which generally can have 300 people. Sometimes they're 100 people. There are specialized committees. I'm in a specialized committee. Those committees are generally smaller and don't really represent a branch of the UN, but they actually represent like a sub thing, like for example, NATO or the Pacific Islands Forum, which I am in this year. And there are crisis committees, which I mentioned earlier, which are just specific topics, and you're either person or country, and you have actual decision-making power and things like that. And you have to respond to things in real time.
Mm, that is pretty cool. Well, yeah. Neil, so you have anything else planned, or what were you saying you were doing? Oh, how's your college class been doing?
Pretty well.
Pretty well. And what was your last class about?
Congress, which is really appropriate.
That is pretty funny. But what did you talk about Congress?
um, we just talked about like we talked about elections in Congress, like how they're elected, and there's like I guess like a bunch of miscellaneous things about it, and also like we talked about cloture and filibustering. I didn't know that those closures or whatever existed in filibustering.
The what?
The cloture, or whatever it's called, basically that you can have 60 votes to end a filibuster.
Oh, you can.
Yeah.
That just stops them from talking.
Yeah, and then you can move to a vote. Yeah, just more like division of power, how the powers are divided up against the Senate and the House.
What are the different rules? I never really thought
So
about
the
it.
Senate, so as you know from like, for example, like that bill video from Schoolhouse Rock, when it comes to a bill, the bills start in the House
Yes.
normally, and they go through congressional committees.
But the Senate is overall more. Is the Senate more powerful or less?
It's complicated.
It seems like you could have two point of views. Like one, there's less people, so it's more powerful. And the other way, like Congress has more people, so it can handle more things.
Yeah, I don't know. It's complicated. I think it's up for debate. But so what? Yeah, bills normally originate in the House of Representatives. They go through committees and things like that, and the committees approve them. They go to a general vote in the House, and if the House votes yes, they go to the Senate, and the Senate goes through their committees, and then they'll approve the bill. Then the president signs the bill. If the president does not sign the bill, the president gets vetoed, and then the only way to override a veto is a 2/3 vote in both chambers of Congress.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's and then that's what's basically the House and the Senate. But the powers exclusive to the House are beginning impeachment,
Mm-hmm.
the power of the purse, which is basically every single bill that involves raising taxes has to start in the Senate. I'm sorry, House. Every bill that involves raising taxes has to start in the House, no matter what. And then what's the third one? Shit. One second. One second. Let me look this up. Because it's the third exclusive power that the House has and the Senate does not. Let me look it up.
The Senate.
I'm pretty sure it's on Crash Course. Let me see. Let me mute my mic for a second so I can look at this.
Okay. It doesn't. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I told you. I'm really excited. I'm going to try and take a college course this semester. I think it'll be really fun. I'm going to take mine in agriculture. That's what really interests me.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure it's this. It's they can impeach an elected official or anyone by basically beginning the trial process. They have the power of the purse, and they break any presidential ties for the president.
Well, they do?
Yes. So, and then they And the Senate has the power to preside over impeachment trials. They ratify treaties and they approve nominees for executive and judicial things. Like when the president nominates someone for a Supreme Court or something like that, the Senate are the people who approve it.
The Senate. What does the Congress do?
Congress? I mean, as a whole?
Yeah.
Well, they're the legislative branch, so they pass laws primarily.
Yeah.
And then, of course, a power that's in both the House and the Senate is that they both have committees that do things. So now that the Democrats have majority of the House, they control all the House committees.
That's pretty cool. Well, yeah, I don't know why. I just never, I never really knew any of that stuff. Even though it seems incredibly basic.
Yeah.
Which it is.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that, and also, I think that, like, I know that obviously our vote doesn't count, right? Like, that's just, I mean, you can say, like, oh, but that mentality increases the people who don't vote, and then has a chain reaction, and then so they can change the presidency. Yeah, sure, it can have a chain reaction, but your individual vote doesn't count, right? But, however, with that being said, it is interesting to see our votes as a collective really do count, because even ignoring gerrymandering, the fact that Trump won is a testament to the fact that voting actually does things. And while your individual vote did not matter, your vote as a collective, like George W. Bush won the presidency by like 400 votes. You know how fucking insane that is? Like, just think about that.
That is an incredible amount.
That's absolutely insane. So yeah, does your vote count? No. But as a collective, as a small collective, does your vote count? Yeah. As a whole and as an individual, no. But still, it's something to be said how close some elections are. Like in Florida, the recounts. Bill Nelson and Rick Scott, who are both going for Senate seats in Florida, they are within 0.2% of each other. That's insane. Okay? It's literally insane. So they're going over a manual recount of every single vote. For the gubernatorial race, 0.4% in Florida. Again, a machine recount they're going through. Insane.
How does that work?
I think
like do they just see like the machine? Because it seems like if it's different, then what do they do?
Well, no one actually takes office till like January.
No, I know. But I mean, like, let's say they do the recount and it's still off. It's a different number. What happens then?
Then that number's accepted.
Then that number's
the
accepted?
Recounts are generally taken with more precaution and more deliberation.
Oh, are they?
Yeah. They're supposed to be. I hope they are.
How do they do the hand recounts? That seems like...
I know. It's insane. It could be months.
That seems incredible.
Yeah, they're going to hand recount everything.
That's millions of stuff.
Yeah, approximately 8 million if you're wondering. Like 9 million.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So
insane.
It's fucking insane. They're going to actually be doing this, and it's going to be very interesting. And since I'm a Florida citizen, that's for my governor and my senator. That's very interesting. For me, particularly.
Definitely.
But yes, it's very, very interesting.
But do they just hire a bunch of people to do it?
What?
They just hire a bunch of people to do it?
I think that's also volunteers.
They are. Jesus Christ, you'd have to be you would be really stupid to want to do that.
I can understand volunteering at like a pollster. Like, here's your sticker, here's your form. But sitting there just going, 1, 2, 7 million? Like, what? No, I can't see. Like, obviously, it's like switched off and stuff. I'm not that stupid. But it's still like the amount of labor and work of a hand recount.
Yeah, it's unfathomable.
Yeah, even a machine recount is manual effort. Because with the machines, they have to like reboot it and manually have all the things coming again And if there are paper ballots, they have to run the ballots through every machine again. And even that's a lot of effort. But a hand recount, Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm. I wonder how many people they get to do that stuff.
I know.
Has there been another one before, like a hand recount?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there was a hand recount for the one in Florida where it was like 420 votes for Bush to win.
420 votes.
Well, not exactly. I didn't mean to sound like smoke weed every day or anything, but
No.
yeah, approximately like 400.
Wow, Neil, it's crazy that your mind went to that. I wonder how.
Yeah. Anyways. Anyways, moving on. So yeah. But yeah, that it was yeah. It's very, I think it is. I think Donald Trump winning is kind of encouraging to the fact that your vote, because people are saying Donald Trump's not going to win. It's just not going to happen. Someone's just not going to let him. And it's like interesting because people voted and it actually happened. When you go to like United Kingdom, people voted for Brexit and it's still being debated if it should be done or not.
Mm-hmm.
And
has it officially happened yet, Brexit?
No, it's not. No. So
what are even upsides? What are the upsides of Brexit besides just like
nothing? I don't think there's anything.
But there's like no. It's just for like Britain saying like, "Oh, fuck off, Europe."
Yeah. I don't think there's any real reason.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. But yeah, that is really interesting.
I mean, our democracy is actually, effective. Not effective. It does things.
So, Neil, what do you think about what's it called? Like, if your vote matters. What are your opinions on that?
I mean, I think I stated them. I think what I said stated them pretty well. Individually, does your vote matter? No. But in certain circumstances, your vote matters a lot more, and your vote does matter as a collective.
Mm-hmm. So, are you gonna vote?
Yeah, I am gonna vote.
You are. What party do you think you're gonna go vote for? You just want to see who you can.
Probably. If it's like a bunch of useless bullcrap I don't really care about, and I don't really care about researching their platform, I'll vote Democrat because, again, on the political spectrum, I'm probably here, which is like the corporate or moderate Democrats, not the progressive Democrats, not these guys. So again, probably Democrat for that. And then for big elections like governor and president, because you have to keep in mind when you're voting for a legislature, you can't just be voting for a platform. And the reason you can't be doing that is because when you're voting for legislature, I think it's actually better to follow party lines when voting for legislature, no matter what party you are. Because keep in mind, even if the person you voted for has a platform that you like better, in a legislature with 100 other people or 400 other people, you're going to be voting along party lines. So if you generally agree with that party more, if you're voting for House or Senate in your state or on the federal level, you should probably be voting along party lines just because they're going to probably be voting along party lines in the House and Senate. However, when it comes to individual positions like governor and president, I will look at the platform because they don't have to follow party lines. Jesus Christ, Trump's an example of that. You can see that. So yeah, I definitely, so that's how I probably vote. For things like presidential and for gubernatorial, things like individual people that don't have to follow party lines or won't follow party lines necessarily, I would look at their platform and then make a decision.
Yeah. I don't know if I'll vote. I don't have a super strong opinion on that. It does seem a little stupid though, like all these fucking campaigns about voting. Like you must vote.
Okay, here's something I will
rant
about.
Vote, you're gonna die.
The fact that people are you have to vote or you're like, no, you don't. Shut up. You don't have to vote. It is not a requirement. It's so stupid.
Mm-hmm. It definitely is really retarded.
Yeah.
That whole campaign is absolutely retarded.
Like, I'm okay with the get out there and vote campaigns. Like, they're just asking you. Yeah, but basically saying you're a bad person. What?
Yeah. You're a bad person.
But it's like things like saying you're a bad person if you don't vote. Shut the fuck up, right? Like, honestly, because there are arguments to be made that we shouldn't even be voting in this manner for purpose of voting at all. Like, so don't act like you can presume like everything about this person's life just because like they don't vote. Or you can like be holier than thou because of that reason. It's so dumb.
Yeah. And that definitely is it. That's one of those retarded things.
If you want to say, hey, why don't you vote? Or, hey, I really like this candidate. Maybe you should consider voting for them. Do that. More power to you. But if you're just going to be a asshole about it.
Yeah. There are way too many people that are assholes about it.
Yeah. But yeah, that's my general opinion on voting. Do what you want. I would encourage people to, during like really important elections, I would encourage people to vote, I guess, if I think that there's an actual important issue on the docket, or is that what it's called, whatever. If there's an actual important issue going on, then I would encourage people to vote. But other than that reason, I guess it's up to you. Like Hillary Clinton versus Donald Trump, I would have probably be campaigning go vote because it's such an important election. Not only for president.
Who would you have voted for, Neil?
Okay.
An independent?
I thought about this for a while. And while I don't like Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump on the personal level, I agreed with Hillary's platform. So I'd probably vote for Hillary Clinton just for her platform and not for Donald Trump because I don't like his platform or him as a person. I don't like his platform. So I'd vote only on platform, not for the person.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, you can argue against it, but I think it's a defensible position. Like, I don't like Hillary as a person. I don't like Trump. But I don't like Trump's platform. And I like Hillary's platform. So, therefore.
Don't you think it's unethical to vote like that, Neil? What if they did something? What if they did something bad? That would be your fault.
No, it would not.
Yes, it would be.
I always argue against this. It's another thing.
That's not. I want to hear what your argument is.
I am not responsible for what someone does just by casting a vote for them. I am responsible for the decision that I make based on the evidence that I have and based on my ability to gather evidence, not for the random ass decisions they make. We actually had this argument on like the first ever episode on this, and we were all saying that people who blame people because they vote for someone, and that just because they check a box and they vote for someone that they can blame them for all the bad decisions that they make. Like,
why not?
If you vote for someone that has a platform and you don't like that, sure, blame them for voting for something you don't like. But don't blame them for random ass decisions that they make.
Well, you should blame them for making random ass decisions.
You can blame the candidates, but I don't think you should be able to. I don't think you should blame the voters.
Why not?
Because they're not responsible for random ass decisions they make. They're responsible for voting for the platform of the person.
They're the ones that put them there to make those random ass decisions. They're the ones that made them there to make those bad decisions.
Yeah, but they didn't have any evidence to support that.
They do. Wait, what do you mean? Wait, what do you mean?
I mean, if Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump did something so radically stupid, and it wasn't on their platform, then it's not their fault.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
It's
like we're just talking about how
they put them in power.
How your vote individually doesn't really matter. So, I mean, that's another thing there. And while your vote as a collective does matter, I mean, I don't think.
But it's your fault.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. You put them in power.
You did an extremely ludicrously small part to put them in power, and you did it for a platform that they then refused. You can't accuse someone. You can't be mad at someone for putting someone in power and they lied and they did something that they never said they were going to do. It's just retarded.
Well, I still think it's unethical to vote if they do have it. If they did have a chance of doing that, then that would be your fault.
I don't think so. I think that if it's something that they say they're going to do, then sure. You can't predict what someone's going to do. Like if Donald Trump decides to launch all the nukes up in the air and then right back down in America, that's not the voters' fault because Donald Trump never said he was going to do that. And he basically just lied.
He never said he wasn't going to do it.
It's not their job. That's so stupid. You know it's so stupid.
No, I know.
I'm just
joking.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I would vote. Our staff member Brian's arguments about not voting are, I would say they're pretty strong.
Yeah, I mean I agree with most of what he says. I just think I would still vote, but if anything, I would just vote for a third party candidate just to show dissatisfaction with the system. If I wasn't going to vote, I wouldn't actually just not vote. I would just vote for a third party candidate or the person who's not with a major party most likely to vote, most likely to win, just so they get higher poll numbers and they see, oh, there's a dissatisfaction with the system.
But yeah, I'd probably vote for a third party candidate. I don't think I'd ever vote for one of the two parties. I would not feel ethical doing that. Like even my dad, he was even talking about voting for someone in New Jersey. There's a guy Bob Mendez. It's just like, I mean, actually, I don't know. Never mind. I think that was just proof that he was like a pedophile or something like that. Maybe he's still a pedophile though. Who knows? But it's just like I don't know if it'd be ethical. Like it was so funny too because this whole campaign, this guy Bob Mendez, this whole campaign was like, vote for me so we can stop Trump. But the Republican candidate in New Jersey was like, I hate Trump.
I know, it's so funny.
Like what? What's going on? Like literally his entire argument was complete nonsense. I thought it was really funny. But yeah, I would only vote for a third party. Maybe I'd vote for myself, write in myself. That's what I would do. Because then I could vote, I'd win. I'd get 0.1. I get 350 million votes. No, not that. That's retarded. Never mind. I don't know what I'm thinking.
Anyways, you know what? We can talk about something else, or we can just end it around here because I think we kind of exhausted this topic to a point.
Yeah, we definitely have. Well, do you have anything else you want to talk about, Neil?
I mean, I think I expressed my opinion pretty well, and I expressed the logistics of it pretty well.
No, I mean, like anything else you want to talk about?
A
completely separate topic.
Not really. Not right now.
Not really. Neither do I, for the most part.
All right, so you want to make closing statements?
I don't really know. I haven't really paid much attention to the primaries. I don't really watch the news.
This isn't a primary.
No, not whatever.
Midterms.
Yeah, midterm. Exactly. See, I don't pay any attention.
Here's the point. You want to make a closing statement?
I don't say I think it's really awesome that there's actually some amount of like, that it's
balance.
That it's more balanced, more than it was at least. But yes, it is a lot better because that's a little retarded when there's like
complete one party rule.
When one party controls everything, like
we were basically Russia for like 2 years.
Basically. Yeah, Russia's pretty messed up too. That's saying something. So Would you have anything to say, Neil?
Yeah, my closing statement would be. I guess everything I said. I think everything I said based on my opinions. I mean, basically everything I said. I said a lot of stuff about my opinions on the midterms. I'm happy that there's checks and balances. And I think when it comes to the parties themselves, we're going to see them develop in 2020, I think, with the results of whoever wins. So with that, thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time. And goodbye.
Humanity has been on an epic journey of discovery, learning the truth about the world we live in. New discoveries about the true origins of humanity, ancient history, free energy, as well as the systematic corruption of world governments are now on the forefront of our daily reality. Is the world headed towards destruction based on control and power? Or is an opportunity now being presented to shift and uplift into a higher consciousness? My name is Mel V, co-founder and creative director of Conscious Consumer Network, an independent broadcast network that was launched on the 1st of January 2015. In the last 3 years, Conscious Consumer Network has broadcast over 2,800 shows in multiple languages, featuring guests from across the world, whilst creating media that is aimed at the creation of a free, fair, peaceful, just, sustainable world. Conscious Consumer Network provides full training and an interactive support network for all broadcasters, and we are always looking for inspiring and educational content.
Hi, this is Lady Liberty.
And this is Miro Siegel.
In 2018, Conscious Consumer Network has expanded to multiple broadcast locations, increasing our availability and reach across the world, remaining on the cutting edge of independent media. If we wish to create a better world, we must first create better media, geared towards real education instead of indoctrination.
You guys really are what changing the world is going to be about. It's educating kids at a grassroots level.
Having become a pillar of stability in the turbulent world of independent media, we have even more going on in 2018. Conscious Consumer Network is a publicly funded network, and we rely on all of you to keep us on the air. Show your support for independent media by donating to our 2018 Network Support Fund. Dare to seek a better world. Support independent media.